Speaking test instructions. The speaking test is 20 minutes. There are 8 tasks in the speaking test. Please try your best to answer all the questions.
Start speaking now. Time is up. 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 Start speaking now. Time is up.
Victoria. The shift from remote work to mandatory office attendance represents a significant quality of life change that deserves careful consideration before making any decisions. Nevertheless, this situation requires balancing your job satisfaction against the practical realities of daily commuting and lifestyle impact. First and foremost, calculate the actual cost of returning to office work beyond just time. Consider transportation expenses, professional wardrobe costs, lunch and coffee expenses, and the value of 4 hours daily that you'll lose to commuting rather than spending on personal activities, family, or rest. Furthermore, 2 hours of daily commuting equals roughly 500 hours per year, which represents enormous time investment that could significantly affect your physical health, mental well-being, and work-life balance. Additionally, after 3 years of remote work, you've likely established routines, commitments, and lifestyle patterns that depend on working from home, making this transition more disruptive than it might seem to employers who haven't experienced the flexibility. Moreover, the return to office mandate suggests your company may not value employee preferences or trust their workforce, which could indicate broader cultural issues worth considering when evaluating whether this remains the right employer long-term. Although you love your job, consider whether the role itself is worth the lifestyle sacrifices now being required, or whether comparable positions might be available at companies committed to remote or hybrid work arrangements. Consequently, I'd recommend first attempting to negotiate with your employer about hybrid arrangements, citing your proven productivity during remote work and requesting flexibility even if full-time remote work isn't possible. Additionally, simultaneously begin exploring job market opportunities with remote-first companies to understand your options before making final decisions. Despite the job market uncertainty, many industries now offer permanent remote positions, and your 3 years of remote work experience demonstrates you can be productive without office supervision. The key is making an informed choice based on comprehensive evaluation of costs and alternatives, rather than accepting the mandate without exploring options. 4 years ago, I had to give up a long-planned trip to Japan that I had been saving for and dreaming about for years in order to help my sister through an unexpected crisis. She had just gone through a difficult divorce and was struggling emotionally while trying to manage 2 young children alone for the first time. Furthermore, she lived in a different state and had no local support system since she had moved there for her ex-husband's job and was now isolated from family and friends. The trip to Japan represented not just a vacation but a milestone I had been working toward. I had studied Japanese, researched cultural sites, and saved specifically for this 2-week journey that was scheduled for spring cherry blossom season. Additionally, I had already purchased non-refundable airline tickets and made hotel reservations, meaning canceling would result in significant financial loss beyond just missing the experience. However, when my sister called in tears explaining she was overwhelmed and struggling to cope with everything, I realized she needed family support more than I needed a vacation. To help her, I canceled my entire trip, losing about $2,000 in non-refundable expenses, and instead flew to her city where I stayed for 3 weeks to help with childcare, household organization, and emotional support during her transition. Moreover, I used my vacation time and some unpaid leave to extend my stay, which also affected my work situation and delayed a project I had been leading. The sacrifice affected me financially and emotionally. I felt disappointed about missing Japan and frustrated about the money lost. Additionally, I struggled with some resentment, wondering if my sister could have managed with less intensive help or if other family members could have shared the burden. However, looking back, I'm confident I made the right choice. My sister later told me that my presence during those weeks was crucial to her recovery and helped prevent what could have been a serious mental health crisis. This experience taught me that meaningful relationships sometimes require significant personal sacrifice, and that the memory of helping someone I love through their darkest time is ultimately more valuable than any vacation, regardless of how long I had anticipated it. This captivating illustration depicts an outdoor yoga class taking place in a peaceful botanical garden during the golden hour of early morning, where participants of varying skill levels are practicing mindfulness and physical wellness. Surrounded by lush natural beauty, the setting features neatly arranged colorful yoga mats positioned on a wooden deck platform, with ornamental plants and flowering shrubs creating a serene backdrop. In the foreground, an experienced instructor wearing fitted athletic wear is demonstrating a balanced tree pose on a purple mat, her arms gracefully extended overhead while participants attempt to mirror her posture. Meanwhile, a middle-aged woman in the front row is wobbling slightly as she tries to maintain her balance, her face showing concentrated effort mixed with a good-natured smile. On the left side of the scene, a pregnant woman is modifying the pose by using a wooden block for support, following the instructor's earlier guidance about adapting movements to individual needs. Additionally, an athletic young man is executing the pose with impressive stability, his muscular frame perfectly still while beads of perspiration glisten on his forehead from the previous sequence. The background reveals more participants spread across the deck in various stages of the pose, some successfully balanced while others are gently repositioning themselves after losing equilibrium. Furthermore, a tranquil koi pond with lily pads is visible beyond the deck's railing, and mature trees create dappled sunlight patterns across the practice area, enhancing the peaceful ambiance. What makes this wellness activity particularly appealing is how it combines physical exercise with mental relaxation in a natural outdoor setting, demonstrating how modern fitness practices can reconnect urban dwellers with nature while accommodating diverse fitness levels and creating supportive communities around holistic health practices. Initially, the yoga instructor will guide the class through additional balancing poses and breathing exercises, whereas participants will focus on maintaining proper form and alignment in the serene outdoor setting. Subsequently, the group will likely transition into more challenging postures such as warrior poses or downward-facing dog, while simultaneously, the instructor will offer gentle corrections and encouragement to ensure everyone's safety and progress. Meanwhile, the peaceful natural environment with blooming flowers and gentle sunrise will continue enhancing the meditative atmosphere, and consequently, practitioners will experience deeper relaxation and mindfulness throughout the session. Furthermore, as the class progresses toward its conclusion, participants will presumably move into cooling down stretches and final relaxation poses like Savasana. Despite varying skill levels among the practitioners, the inclusive atmosphere ensures everyone feels comfortable. Nevertheless, beginners might occasionally struggle with balance before finding their center. In addition, the wooden deck platform surrounded by lush gardens provides an ideal surface for yoga practice, while connecting participants with nature. In conclusion, this tranquil outdoor yoga session will conclude with meditation and gratitude practices, leaving participants feeling rejuvenated, centered, and prepared to face their day with renewed energy and mental clarity. Marcus, I understand your preference for renting a car and sharing costs with other wedding guests. but I believe driving my own car represents the better choice for attending Daniel's wedding. First and foremost, having my own vehicle provides complete flexibility with my schedule, allowing me to leave when I want, make stops along the way, and most importantly, depart the wedding whenever I choose rather than being constrained by a group's collective timeline. Furthermore, weddings are unpredictable events where you might want to leave early if you're tired, or stay later if you're enjoying yourself. And having your own transportation means never having to compromise or inconvenience others with your preferences. Additionally, while an 8-hour drive seems long, I actually enjoy road trips and find driving relaxing and therapeutic. Plus, I can listen to podcasts, audiobooks, or my favorite music without negotiating with other passengers. Moreover, the fuel and parking costs, while significant, are actually comparable to or less than my share of a rental car when you factor in rental fees, insurance, and splitting costs, especially since I have a fuel-efficient vehicle. Although the flight option seems faster, consider that when you account for arriving at the airport 2 hours early, security lines, baggage claim, and ground transportation on both ends, the actual door-to-door time difference isn't as dramatic as the flight time suggests. Consequently, driving gives me control over my entire experience and ensures I'm not dependent on anyone else's schedule, mechanical issues with a rental vehicle, or airline delays that could make me miss the wedding entirely. Despite the rental car sharing seeming more social and economical, I've had previous experiences where group travel created tensions about timing, music preferences, and stops, ultimately making the journey more stressful than enjoyable. Don't you think the independence and reliability of having my own vehicle outweigh the longer travel time? Marcus. While I appreciate the appeal of driving for flexibility, I strongly believe taking the direct flight represents the most practical and efficient choice for attending Daniel's wedding. First and foremost, the 90-minute flight time means I can leave Friday evening after work, attend the wedding Saturday, and return Sunday afternoon, using only one vacation day rather than needing to take Thursday and Monday off for an 8-hour drive each direction. Furthermore, arriving fresh and well-rested from a short flight means I'll actually enjoy the wedding festivities rather than being exhausted from 16 hours of driving over the weekend. Additionally, while airfare and baggage fees are expensive, when I calculate the actual cost of driving, fuel, vehicle wear and tear, potential parking fees, meals during the long drive, and the value of my time, the flight is actually cost competitive while saving me approximately 14 hours. Moreover, the fixed flight schedules, rather than being a limitation, actually provide structure and ensure I arrive on time for wedding events rather than risking traffic delays or car trouble that could make me late or miss the ceremony entirely. Although airport security is inconvenient, consider that modern TSA pre-check and clear programs significantly reduce hassle. And I'd rather spend an hour in an airport than 8 hours on highways dealing with traffic, weather conditions, and road construction. Consequently, flying allows me to maximize my time at the wedding celebration itself rather than spending most of the weekend in transit. Despite the rental car sharing option offering cost savings, coordinating schedules with other people introduces variables and dependencies that could create stress rather than reducing it. The driving option, while giving you complete flexibility, essentially wastes an entire weekend on transportation rather than celebration. Don't you think arriving rested and having more time to actually enjoy the wedding is worth the additional expense? Jessica, I need to talk with you about your wedding invitation. And this is genuinely one of the most difficult phone calls I've ever had to make. First and foremost, Please know that I love you deeply and there's nothing I want more than to celebrate this incredible milestone in your life. Nevertheless, I have to tell you that I cannot attend your destination wedding due to a scheduling conflict with a critical work conference. Furthermore, this isn't just any work conference. I'm scheduled to present research that I've been working on for 18 months. And this presentation is directly connected to a promotion opportunity that would significantly impact my career trajectory and financial future. Additionally, the conference date was set over a year ago when I committed to presenting. And your wedding date announcement came several months later, creating an impossible conflict that I've agonized over for weeks. Moreover, my boss has made clear that missing this presentation could seriously affect my upcoming promotion decision, as it demonstrates commitment and positions me as a thought leader in our field. Although I've explored every possible alternative, including having a colleague present on my behalf or trying to reschedule, neither option is feasible given the conference structure and professional expectations. Consequently, I have to make the heartbreaking decision to miss your wedding. Even though it devastates me to not be there on your special day, I want you to know this decision reflects the unfortunate reality of conflicting professional obligations, not the importance of our friendship or my happiness for you. Additionally, I would love to celebrate with you before or after the wedding. Perhaps I could host an engagement celebration or arrange a special trip to visit you on your honeymoon destination later. Despite missing the ceremony, you remain one of my closest friends and I'm committed to celebrating this marriage with you in meaningful ways. I hope you can understand and forgive me for this absence. Susan, I wanted to discuss the upcoming industry conference with you and request consideration for an alternative arrangement regarding my scheduled presentation. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge that this conference is important and that my presentation represents valuable work that our team has invested significant time developing. Nevertheless, I'm facing an extremely difficult personal conflict. My best friend's destination wedding is scheduled for the exact same weekend, and she's asked me to be in the wedding party. Furthermore, this isn't just any friend but someone who has been my closest companion for 15 years, who supported me through my most difficult personal challenges, and whose friendship has been foundational to my life. Additionally, because this is a destination wedding that required guests to make plans far in advance, declining attendance would not only disappoint my friend tremendously but might also damage a relationship that means more to me than any professional opportunity. Moreover, I understand the presentation is connected to my promotion consideration, but I'm hoping that my consistent strong performance, dedication to our organization, and overall track record might allow for some flexibility in this unique circumstance. Although I recognize that missing the conference isn't ideal, I'd like to propose alternatives such as pre-recording my presentation for virtual delivery, having a colleague present the research with my support materials, or presenting at a different session or future conference. Consequently, I'm asking you to consider whether my years of commitment, reliability, and strong performance might warrant this one accommodation for a truly significant personal event. Additionally, I would ensure that all research materials, slides, and documentation are thoroughly prepared so that the content is represented professionally, regardless of delivery format. Despite understanding this request is unconventional, I believe that organizations benefit long-term by supporting employees during major life events, and I would be deeply grateful for your understanding. Would you be willing to discuss possible alternatives that might allow me to attend the wedding, while ensuring our research is still presented at the conference? Celebrities and public figures should not have less privacy protection than ordinary citizens, as privacy is a fundamental human right that shouldn't be diminished based on profession or public recognition. First and foremost, choosing a career in entertainment, politics, or other public-facing fields doesn't constitute consent to unlimited intrusion into personal life, family relationships, or private moments that have no legitimate public interest. Furthermore, the argument that celebrities chose public life ignores that many public figures became famous unexpectedly, that family members of celebrities never chose exposure, and that even those who sought fame deserve boundaries between professional and private spheres. Additionally, aggressive paparazzi behavior and invasive media coverage have contributed to serious mental health consequences, dangerous situations, and even deaths among celebrities, demonstrating that reduced privacy protection creates real harm. Moreover, public interest in someone's work, acting, music, sports, or political leadership doesn't automatically create legitimate public interest in their medical conditions, romantic relationships, children's lives, or private conversations. Nevertheless, I recognize that public figures do accept some reduced privacy regarding their professional activities and public conduct, and that media scrutiny serves important functions for political accountability and informed public discourse. Consequently, privacy protections should distinguish between matters of legitimate public concern, politicians' policy positions, use of public funds, professional conduct, and purely private matters like family relationships or personal health that don't affect public responsibilities. Additionally, privacy laws should protect all people, including celebrities, from harassment, dangerous stalking behavior, and publication of information obtained through illegal means like hacking or trespassing. Some argue that celebrities profit from public attention and therefore can't complain about media coverage. But profiting from controlled professional publicity doesn't justify invasion of genuinely private moments. Therefore, while public figures may appropriately have reduced privacy expectations regarding their professional conduct and public activities, they deserve the same fundamental privacy protections as ordinary citizens for personal matters unrelated to their public roles or legitimate public interest. Amanda, I just found the most breathtaking chandelier at Illumination Gallery that would absolutely transform our dining room. While helping my cousin pick out some fixtures, I came across this extraordinary piece that's designed to look like a cascading waterfall made entirely of crystal and glass, instead of traditional chandelier arms. This one features hundreds of individual crystal strands that hang at varying lengths, creating the illusion of water flowing downward from the ceiling. What makes this absolutely mesmerizing is how each crystal piece is hand-cut to catch and refract light in different directions. So when the chandelier is lit, it projects rainbow patterns across the entire room like sunlight hitting actual water. Furthermore, the fixture includes LED lights programmed to slowly change color intensity, mimicking the natural shimmer and movement of real flowing water. Not only does it provide excellent lighting for the dining area, but the gentle tinkling sound the crystals make when air circulates creates this incredibly soothing ambiance. The installation includes a remote control that allows you to adjust both the brightness and the color temperature to match different occasions. Since the store prohibits photography of their exclusive custom designs to maintain their competitive advantage, I couldn't capture any images for you. Given how we've been searching for the perfect statement piece for our dining room renovation and considering you loved that waterfall we saw during our Niagara trip, I genuinely believe this chandelier would be ideal. However, it requires special ceiling reinforcement due to its weight, so we'd need to factor in installation costs. What are your thoughts on this?